Hello and happy Saturday morning. I really wanted to make this video because there's a lot going on in the marketplace that caused me concern this morning, and I just wanted to share it with you. I'm on the way to go surfing. That's what I like to do in my spare time. What do you like to do in your spare time? Put it down in the comments. So today I look at the last couple days of run up of XRP, and XRP hit that level around $3.65. All-time highs, unless you count that glitch at like 384 or whatnot. And I look at that and I'm like, okay, this is awesome, all run up. But we've had about a 91% run up since June 22nd. 91%. And XRP has been flying the last couple days. And by the way, this is Joe from Joe Knows the Cryptos. If you're not a subscriber, now's the time to hit subscribe, like, share, do all those things. We're going to be talking about XRP, what I'm concerned with right now in the marketplace, and what I'm doing about it. I would typically show you my computer, but I think I have enough info and facts and data in my head that I can share with you that I think you'll get something out of this today. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing in this market, and you can follow along and see my fails, trials, and tribulations and along the way. So look, XRP right now, we're at about $3.40, $3.41, $3.42, $3.40. And if you take a swing market high from this cycle and then the swing market low, draw the Fibonacci retracement tool, you'll notice that there's a floor of support right now at around 339, 340. And we've been bouncing and playing with that. We haven't closed a daily candle below that since we've run up, but we're flirting with that number. And then if you draw a swing market high-low from previous cycle, 2021, you'll see that that floor support's around 330. So that zone between 330 and 340 is very important. If we flirt with that and we go below the 330, we could see it hit the next fib spot down around $3. So that's a long way down. Now, don't mistake anything. I'm still very, very bullish on XRP. There's so much going on. Brad Garlinghouse has done so much to push his product throughout the world, and banks are said to be using it. Bank of Japan, Bank of America. There's a lot of positive things going on with the passing and signing of the Genius Act by Donald Trump. And remember, XRP is made by Ripple. Ripple has RLUSD, and they're going to try to push that. It's not huge in acceptance right now, but they're going to be pushing that all over the world as there's the stable coin to use. It's also an American crypto, and there's all kinds of talk. Wow, this is bouncy. All kinds of talk about how maybe there might not be capital gains on U.S. cryptos. They might tax those companies less. All kinds of talks about positive ways to help push that forward. So all in all, I am still very bullish on XRP, but we've got to watch these levels. I do believe people will want to take some profits if they haven't done so already, take some money off the table. And if you're on a high leverage trade, watch out. Make sure you have stop losses. I set a stop loss at 329 on a trade I've been in since like $2.19. I set it so if it comes back down, if it goes below that 330 mark, I'm going to get a little nervous. I'm not telling you to do that. This is my risk tolerance. So I've got a stop loss set there so that it's basically a take profit, but I have it set below where market is, so I call it a stop loss. But I'm going to sell at there, because if it goes below 330, I have the feeling that it could run lower before we go back up. If we stay above the 340, it's going to be extraordinarily bullish. If we don't go below that 340 mark, it'll be extraordinarily bullish, and I believe that we could see a further run up. If we retest that 340 mark a couple times, I believe it has the ability to potentially run up, and hit that next 441, the $4.41, 447. Nothing's guaranteed. Obviously the macro environment could change overnight. We could, who knows, with one tweet, we could be in a whole different world, and it could look totally different. But right now, I am still bullish on XRP. So the bad news is that we are testing that floor of support. And if it busts through it, it could be, and it busts through the 330, we could come back down to that $3 range, which would be for me, it would be a great accumulation time. But if you're on a leveraged trade right now, you want to make sure you're always protected. Make sure you have a stop loss in there. Make sure you have a take profit and don't be greedy. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. That should be a crypto trader's theme, because the reality is that 95% of people out there will lose money trading crypto. So if you're a buy and hold, yeah, are you going to sell and then buy back in? I don't know. My spot bags, I have spot bags of XRP. I have spot bags of Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, Solana. Those are my 5 biggest holdings, or those 5. They happen to be some of the biggest cryptos. But as you've seen, market cap is a paradigm that can shift at any time. I mean, look at Bitcoin's market cap. We're at, almost $3 trillion. And with the money that's going to be pumped into stable coins in the next couple years, I see that as a very positive thing long-term for crypto. So let's just recap real quick, and then we'll get you out of here. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. Usually I'll show you TA. Usually I'll show you my computer. I just wanted to talk about this because I had a little time before I get to my spot where I'm surfing at. But look, if you are watching this, watch it carefully over the weekend. Usually weird things happen on the weekend. Liquidations, retracements, low liquidity, so people can move markets, and there's a lot of manipulation that can potentially happen. So with that, if it goes below 340, be keenly aware. If it hits below 330, we could be in for a wild ride. Now, not saying it's going to happen, but the potential is certainly there. That's all I got. I hope you got some value out of this, and if you did, hit the like button down there. I would greatly appreciate it. With that, I'll see you next time.